Test, test. Check, check, check. Okay, back to business. So I'm on my old NVIDIA card now. I checked the test. I checked the test. Yeah, I tested the stream on a different channel, and it looked fine. I tested the editor, and it looked fine, and it might be solved. It might actually be solved. So where was I? With the interiors. Let's look. Let's enable my map actually. So so this is the old 1080 Ti. So if this card dies, then well, first of all, I have a problem because I don't have the money to buy a new one. I might actually a used one that's kind of comparable. So yeah, that I should be able to do that. But this card is 8 years old. But yeah, it's running fine. The what was I talking about? If this card dies, I'll just buy a used one. That's okay. So do I have all the interiors? Yes, I did this one last, and I haven't finished it. Okay. So what I hadn't thought about before switching to the NVIDIA card is that I also have to update. I had to update the drivers on Ubuntu and on Windows, but that was pretty painless. So when I just inserted the card and booted up Windows without doing anything, it worked fine. Hey Andre, I'm using a NVIDIA card now, and I think it's fixed. So when I booted up Windows, it worked fine with the NVIDIA card, but when I tried to launch the game in Steam, it wouldn't launch. Then I installed the NVIDIA drivers without removing the AMD drivers, just installed them on top, and then it all worked. Bitrate is nice, yeah. That's awesome. Finally. Yeah. And I mean, it's good to test the game on NVIDIA anyways. I already found a problem. So if I jump in the game, you can, oh, it's really hard to see at night. I can get a day start, okay. the trees have little tree trunks. And they... Oh, this is bad. What is this? This part of the road. Super bad. The tree trunks, I paint them with... It's kind of a hack. I paint them with just GL line drawing. And you can see it kind of here. It's much thicker on the AMD cards. And that's because there's a limit. So you can set the width of GL lines. So usually you render with GL triangles. That's the typical use case, but you can use GL lines. So it draws a line through all your vertices. And you can set the width of the line. But there's a maximum to which you can set that. Oh yeah, here. You can see it better here. There. The tree trunk is super thin on the NVIDIA cards because it doesn't support that much of a line width as AMD does. So I have to find a solution. And I only paint these tree trunks because it's a bit disorienting not having them there. Because it helps you see where you can go and where you can't, where the tree is blocking a path. So I'm not sure how I'll solve it. I mean, and you can see that sometimes on AMD cards. When the camera rotates around a tree, the line is actually just a quad that's upward, that's standing upwards. And if the camera was here and I was looking at this tree, the quad would be pointing, oh god, which way are you looking at me? The quad would be pointing at the player. And if I move down here, it would be flipping and pointing south, straight south. So it would only be pointing straight west, straight east here. If I move down a bit, it would flip and point straight south. So that's a visual bug. Anyways. But I could emulate that, but I would need a shader. To do the flipping. Probably. I could also just render four quads as the sides of the trunk. Yeah, that's another problem. I'll write it down. Tree trunks are too thin on NVIDIA and probably other cards as well. Intel maybe, not sure. Okay, where was the house I just did? There it was. Okay, let's go over here. And yeah, the bitrate is still crap if I scroll in the editor, but that's just how it is. That's normal. Okay, let's put an entrance here. Let's get these interiors done. So I can take that off at least. I should be using wood. Okay. And then the entrance goes here. And then a couple of urns. It's enough, I guess. I'd love to put furniture in here, and I will do that in the future. But right now is a bit... yeah, time is a bit short. Too short for that. Okay, that barely fits between these larger interiors. And then I can put the entrance maybe here. And would like to have a wall in here. Maybe like this. So it's a bit more interesting. That needs a door, and let's put a chest in here. Two of these. And that's done. Okay, this one needs an interior as well. Entrance here. Wall. Door. Okay, zombies outside. So let's put a bear in here. Because why not? Okay. This one has an interior. Because I can see the door. This one doesn't. There's also oh. Yeah, I can't put that there. So let's make it a collapsed building. That's good. Okay, almost missed this one. Entrance. Maybe there. Then a wall. A door. A couple of urns. And that's it. What's outside? Zombies. Put a bunch of them in there. Okay. It's not a deal breaker if I miss one or two. But they should all have interiors. Okay, I did this one. I have this one. Don't have this one. Another plus with the NVIDIA card is that the fan is constantly spinning. I've talked about this before. But the Radeon cards, they spin up. They're totally silent most of the time, but then every minute or so, they spin up the fans really loud. And then they stop again, and that's just... Don't know why they did that. Let's put the entrance there. And can I... not that easy. But let's do it this way. And then put a chest in here and some vases or urns. And outside is our zombies. Let's put two kobolds in here. I mean, one of them gets probably removed before the game begins to thin out the enemies, but there might be two in there. Entrance. Wall and door. Chest. And zombies again, which is a bit lame, but that's okay. It's okay for now, at least. Okay. Next. This one. So I've put an awful lot of houses in there. Seems like... oops. That was... not intentional. Not sure if I saved, so I'll just repair this. So no interior here. Let's collapse this building. And Yeah, let's continue. So all the other interiors are lower because I once brought them all to the same height, but it doesn't matter actually where they are. So I'm saving the time. To do that. Let's actually not place a chest here. Okay, this one I have, and then let's make sure I have everything. Those houses all have doors. This one hasn't. And yeah. Okay, there's space. Entrance could be here. That's more easily visible. And you can see the interiors are the exact same size as the building. So it's not entirely realistic. Because the walls extend. But if I didn't do it that way, they would have to be enormous on the outside. And that's... it might feel... It might change the feel of the game. But it also means that these spaces have to be bigger around the houses as well. And that propagates. So what I wanted is more intricacy, if that's a word. More intricate paths and areas. A bit more of a cramped feel. And yeah, I haven't quite achieved that, but there's still hope. Because there just aren't enough objects in the game right now. Okay, what do I place here? There are zombies, so maybe another zombie. Or a couple of snakes. Okay. So we're actually not that far from the end of the map. That one has no interior. Did that one. This one. Okay, I kind of collapsed this one. But maybe... maybe I can make this work. Something like that. Let's put the entrance here. Wait, is that? Yeah, that's correct. Entrance there and there. And I could yeah, that's not bad. Something like that. Yeah, don't need a monster in there. Okay. Okay, I can't place anything there, so let's throw it down the hill. Oh, this is odd. I'm looking at the Z over here. I'm not sure. It's super noisy. Yeah, the 75Z. This has to be even. Oh, that's the rule I set up. Should be even if the player can walk on it. So the player can walk one tile up. I have to be careful that they don't have access to the roof. Yeah, that's okay actually. Okay. No, what else? Here's another one. Let's put the entrance there or here. Let's put it here. And divide it. Okay. A chest behind some garbage. And let's put a monster in here. Maybe 2 wolves. Or should be jackals actually. Okay, another one down here. Entrance. Let's move this away. No, actually I had the chest up there, so let's just place this in here. And I could also put some boulder puzzles in these. Haven't thought of that. That might actually be kind of fun. Let's write that down. I was thinking of a Link to the Past, where they have these little puzzles, not only in the buildings, but everywhere, really. Okay, then this one is a bit awkward to enter, so let's just destroy it. This one is okay. And a zombie, which might be turned into a ghoul, so it's not that bad to have them everywhere. Okay, this is out of bounds. This one, okay, I've completely skipped these. So this line, I did this one, but I skipped all of these. And there's space, okay. That's not what I wanted. Entrance. Let's just put these in there. And give it a roof. Okay. Next one. And this one could have a chest. Of course, also a zombie that guards it. Okay. Let's go across. So this is out of bounds. This one has an interior. This one up there as well. And there are no huts down here. Okay. So let's go back. Scan across. think we're actually done. Yup. Okay. So next, I was thinking of adding the secret overworld entrances. So that, for example, here, yeah, I would find this super fun. So I walk down here and I see these two stones conspicuously placed. If I stand there, if I stand here and walk into the wall, then I could land up in a small room. I think that would be pretty awesome. The question is, how many do I place? Where do I place them? How do I distribute them? And do I mean, all I can do right now is just put loot in them. Or I could tie this to collecting items. So, I'm sorry, I was thinking about a meta game, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea. That is like, it's basically, it's like the graffitis in GTA San Andreas. There's a whole bunch of them and you can unlock them and then you can feel good about it in the end if you have all of them. But that's kind of lame. But it's also kind of nice. So you don't have to overdo it like the 900 Koroks in Breath of the Wild, which is just completely meaningless. But if I would tie this, so the one idea to think this further, you could of course call them medallions or whatever, like in Hollow Knight, where you can then, where they are bound to abilities that you can then use to modify the gameplay. And you have, there are 100 of them, but you only have 3 slots or something. That's basically what Hollow Knight does. Of course, what I'm talking about is a meta progression that would persist between runs. And maybe... well, the idea I just had was you could modify parts of the game so you don't modify the player, but you modify what is generated in the game. But that then scatters the experience across players. Maybe kind of talked about this a couple of days ago. So what I could do is I could add these rooms, put loot in them, and then if I think of something more special, I could do that. And I don't have to add 100 of them. I could just add, let's say 20 or so. But I really like the idea of hidden stuff. So not all the temple interiors have secrets, most of them. Let's say 90%. So the overworld should have something similar. And so yeah, this is all in the context of balancing the game. So if I add them, I should add them now. But also if there are only 20 of them, they don't have a huge impact on the game balance. So yeah, maybe I'll just add 20 of them with loot and nothing else. Maybe a monster. Maybe I make them puzzle rooms. That would actually be nice. I can plop an item down explicitly. And build a boulder puzzle around it. But that takes a lot of time, making these puzzles. I think so, at least. Let's just try it. So problem one is I don't have porches that are invisible. I would have to add them. But I think that's what I want. Yeah, so let's add them to the game. And for that I need the structs, the externals, nav, and a whole bunch more, I think. So let's name it passage. Let's see if this collides. I don't think so. Okay. Let's copy the porch, but make it invisible. That might be too long. It's just called a passage. And that should be here somewhere. There it is, passage. Plop this down and it's gone. So that works. Now I have to give it functionality. Porch. So let's see, normal move. What is this? Don't let enemies block landing ledges. Okay. That means this and standing on a... move into another layer. Okay, this searches for the other side of the entrance. So if the entity on the other side is null or it's not a porch and it's not a passage. And this is walking. Try to move. Try to normally move. And then if that fails, try to make a special move. And this just adds the passage. And that's it. Let's see if that builds. Okay, and then let's search the rest of the code base. And I have debug and tile. So this is a bot enter function, but it's commented out. And the bot is working fine, so let's move this. And that leaves this function. Enter exit entrances. So the bot should go in the secrets. And that's a wrong comment. So if the ground is null or the ground is not a porch and the hero's ground is not a passage, then skip this function, and then this is again checking the opposite side. Yeah. So if the entity on the other side of the wall is null, or it's not a porch, and it's not a passage, skip this. And then what is this? This is setting the heat map. If there's an entity there and it's a porch, and this is a layer 2, so let's make this an OR. So the entity is a porch or a passage, and that concludes this file. Where else? In tile. Save the exits. Okay, the passages don't count as exits. for the patches. Why do I save this actually? Oh, that's exit position for something. Don't know. Forgotten. Okay, let's try to run this and test the passage. Okay. That's just wrongly named. Hello. Extraneous. Okay. So it's nice that the mouse also hides in the editor. Let's plop down. Actually, let's do this proper. Let's start in the top left. And let's search for places. This one's actually kind of cool. So let's use the passage. And then the question is, how do I make the secret rooms look? Are they dirty caves? So dirt caves, or are they gravel, stone, or are they temples? And this is also conflicting. Yeah, so no secret entrance here. Could put one here. And there's space. One down. So same thing here as with the little huts. But I can make this a bit more jagged. And then put the entrance, the real entrance here. Okay, let's see. Walking here, and then there's a secret room. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Not sure if I should give hints as to where these are. Like putting 2 stones there. That looks much more like an entrance. Maybe I give these small hints. I think that's okay. So let's see, how hard would a border puzzle be? And yeah, these should not be there actually. How hard is it to create a boulder puzzle? Let's put a chest there. Pretty cramped. Okay, that was easy. Maybe I'll put another one here. And here, but that's just busy work. It would be a puzzle if you could only push them one way or once. But this is kind of easy, but I'm not opposed to it. I mean, the only thing is they should be solvable, of course. But I'm kind of... So these are two things. I have these secret rooms. And if I then put puzzles in them, that's really not using these two things to their fullest potential. So they shouldn't be exclusive. I should have boulder puzzles elsewhere. I mean, there are some, but they are not well thought out. They're just a bit of busy work along the way. I mean, this is as well, but it's a bit more... a tiny bit more thinking. Not much, but... Yeah, let's just place 20 of these and think about the rest later. Okay, 20 means... not sure how I'll spread them, but I'll just go costly and make a note. Just count them. Okay, this looks pretty good. Put a passage right there. And then, yeah, I might vary them by theme. Why not? Entrance here. Something like this. And then some boulders. And some rocks maybe. Let's put a chest there. Let's see what happens. Actually, let's collapse this wall as well. Okay, this looks annoying already. And of course I put the permanent rock directly in front of the chest. Okay. This is actually not easy. But possible. Okay. Just have to complete it once. I'm pretty sure the player can't corner themselves in these. Pretty sure that's impossible. Because they can undo their last move with just pulling or pushing. Okay, next one. Other layer. That's 2. Where's a good place? Okay, there's trees here. Let's put one there. Or not. Maybe, but there's already a camp. So I wouldn't want to... press this all into the same space. But this looks kind of good. Okay, remove the whole floor. Didn't want that. So let's put a passage here. I should give the passage a different icon. And then put this here. Maybe like this, and like this. Let's put some rocks in there and some boulders. Let's see if this is solvable. Yep, pretty easy. Let's add one more. Maybe there. Might be too much. Doable. That one's better. Okay. This is an entrance, yes. Okay, that's 3. Yeah, they take a bit of time to create, but that's okay. So there's not much going on here, so let's add one in this vicinity, but it's not that... not that easy. Maybe one going down as well. But the entrance is south facing. It's actually not that easy. Maybe just the wrong place. Here maybe. No, there's another entrance there. Should put them in places where not much is going on. Okay, it seems like facing north is much easier. So maybe I'll try east. Where was the... I was looking here, so... okay, that goes down. Okay, then west maybe. Let's try here. That's not working. Why is that so hard? Okay, I'm near the top again. Also I don't have a visual of where I placed them already, so I wouldn't want to place 2 of them right next to each other. Could place one here. Okay. Where was it? Passage here. Diego, yes, I'm on NVIDIA. It's working. I just plopped it in, installed the drivers, and everything's good. I should have done that 3 days ago. And somehow I had in the back of my mind that the stream performance wasn't as good, but it's completely fine somehow. So yeah, that's great. And I also didn't have to recompile OBS. I remembered that Debian has a repository for apps, so I just installed the normal OBS that comes with Debian, and that just works. Okay, let's put some greenery in here. Don't quite like this. Because you don't know which way you have to push to get out of this. So let's remove this wall instead. Good for you. This was a very strange issue. Yeah, it still is very strange. No idea what was happening. But I guess, yeah, it has something to do with the fact that Radeon cards don't have a separate encoder pipeline. Something like that. Okay, that's too easy. Okay, this one's pretty hard. But I'm getting closer. Am I? Oh yeah, I am. Did it. Now I have to get out. Okay, this is actually fun. Very good. Okay. Let's keep that one. That is 4. So that was west facing. Let's try east. Maybe here with a, well, there's a building. Maybe south. Yep. Passage. There's even space. Entrance is here. Let's put in some rocks. Some of these. And then some boulders and a chest. Okay, this looks impossible. There's still a little bit of bitrate drop when you move around. Yeah, that's normal. That's just the encoding that can't cope because there's just too much going on. It's the same thing if you look at a YouTube video of raindrops falling on a lake, for example, or grain waving in the wind, or wind through grass, then you also get this the bitrate decrease because there's just too much going on. And that's just how the game is, how it looks. So a bit of that is okay, but it shouldn't tank to 200 kilobits and then stay there, which it doesn't anymore. So that's awesome. Let's try this puzzle. Okay, this is, I think that's, yeah, that's too easy. Let's put in more boulders. Still the same. Let's put in a fixed boulder. Still easy. Let's put in another pushable boulder. Okay, that's impossible now. Is it? I think so. What if I remove this bush? So I can push this here. But I can't get there, but if I do this and I remove this, then I can get to it. That's pretty good. Is that 5? I think that's 5. Let's put one here. If there's space, yes. Passage. Let's make it brown. And a entrance. Then a chest. Couple of unmovable boulders. And movable ones. Okay, I can clear this, but then I'm stuck. So let's remove move this one here maybe. Still stuck. I think this one has to go. Well, yeah, that's still the same problem. What do I need to do? I need more space, maybe. Or I need to remove this one. Can push this down, and then I can do this. Yeah, that's not too hard. That's okay. So that's 6. Yeah. Let's try west. Excuse me, east. I don't have one that leads east. This is pretty good. Let's move this tree. Keep the boulder. Add the passage. Check the theme. And I'll plop it right here. Wait, that's great. The other side of that's opposite of where I just placed one. Okay, that's a shame. At least this part of development is quite relaxing. Yeah. There are many parts that are super relaxing. It's actually just now, shortly before release, where I have all these bug fixes and stuff. All these technical things. But that will subside, I hope, in time. So east, I said. Maybe here? Nope. It's not that many good places for an eastern entrance. Here's a good western entrance. Passage. I think I just had that one. Okay, a chest. Let's put it here. And some rocks. And some boulders. And let's see what happens. Okay, that's too easy. Let's put another boulder here. Maybe like this. Okay, that's too easy as well. But if I move the chest in here, put another one there. So I can go in here, then I need to go around. But I can't pull this one out. What if I remove this one? Okay, that's better. I wonder if I can make it a bit more complicated. So I push this one, I pull this here, push this. What if I put one here? Then we would need to go there. I would need to go here. And then I could open it. That's good. Okay. And yeah, that should be good. Okay, that's 7. I'm not even halfway down, so I can place some more. Yeah, I can place less. I mean, if I want 20. And so to find these again, because yeah, there's no chance I find them just by looking at the map, but I can type. Let me demonstrate that this doesn't work. If I type passage, yeah, then I have them all, and I can type next, 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 and then it jumps through them. So that's pretty good. Otherwise, I would be absolutely lost. Let's look at places where there's not much going on. I think here is pretty calm. So let's plop one down there. Yeah, there's space. Let's make it green, why not? And let's put the chest there. So I need to pull out this one, but I can't. So let's turn this into a boulder and let's put another one there. So if I pull this one, I'm stuck. Okay, this way. Oh, this is tricky. That's good. Okay. I didn't use this part of the level, so I can make the geometry a bit more interesting. And remove all this stuff. Okay. I could place one here because that's... Oh, well. Player has spider webs there. Okay, I have 8 now. What is this actually? Okay, this is also pretty hidden, but that's okay, I guess. Here's a pretty good spot, but there's also a temple there. And this is pretty dead as well. I could place something here. Let's do that. Let's put the entrance there. Entrance. You know, your editor is almost as cool as your game. Did you code it from scratch? Yeah. Originally, I thought of doing it the normal way with just keyboard and mouse. Then I thought of making it work with kind of like in VI, with the VI bindings, that I have total control over the editor with just the keyboard, with no mouse. And then finally I decided the editor should be fun to use, so it's completely controlled with the editor, with the gamepad. So it's actually fun to use. And yeah, and this took many iterations, but it's been super stable for half a year now, I think. There's not much that I added. And I just have these modes with the bitmap painting, and I can paint explicit tiles to decorate, place entities, change geometry, and paint terrain. That's it. So there's, yeah, that's all I need right now. And of course setting the flags for the boundaries. Seems great for developing maps. Yeah, so it's specifically for the tile maps I have. So it might be, it's good for that, but wouldn't be good for much else. But yeah, for what I need it for, it's actually super good. I have no complaints. And if I had one, I would probably fix it, but yeah. Okay, can I... Okay, that's pretty easy. What if I put another one here? That becomes unsolvable, probably. So yeah, but the main thing that makes it good for development is that I can jump into the game at any point. That's the big thing. Yeah. But that's of course not easy. kind of constrains you with how complex your game can be, because it conflicts with. So what I do when I start the editor is, so the game always has one copy of the world just for the editor, and when the game starts I create a copy of the world to change, because if I would jump into the game from the editor and then modify stuff while playing, for example opening up the secret vaults, they actually change the world data. If I would then jump back into the editor, that would still be changed. And if I then press save, then I've written the gameplay state into the world file. So it's not that easy to keep those two separated, and I didn't think of that beforehand, so I had to kind of hack that together, but it works. So that's good. Okay, I think that didn't work. Okay, this puzzle is kind of messed up. Don't like it. I'm trying to understand it, but as a man with low coding skills, it's quite fascinating. What are you coding? What are you coding on? What are your coding skills? It's just data management with the editor. Yeah, and that's different from game to game. So my case is wouldn't say special, but it's different from other games. That's true. Basic C++ and something more in Python. Okay. Yeah, I know nothing about C++. I once saw code from a guy that loved templating, and that was completely alien to me, so I never got around. Well, actually, I just don't have the need for C++. Otherwise, I might be interested in learning it, but... Oh, this is a good puzzle. I fixed it. Let's put a root in there to throw the player off. Okay, X1. That's 9. That took me half an hour or so. Maybe more. Let's look at dead regions. This is pretty dead. Let's put one there. No space. No space. No space. Gets pretty crowded here. Well, I started to learn in school, and then I've used it for simple programs and scripts. Okay. Yeah, I also learned C in school. Might have told you that already. I mean, the basics. I think I had 1 year of C or something. Also no space. Yeah, yes. Passage. And entrance. To make sure that they are invisible. So if you start at C, white change. No, it works. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the C can be a bit annoying, but that's only with the... So there's no function overloading, but actually, I mean, if I had it, I might overuse it. And what else is there? I mean, that's the main thing. So the vector calculations are pretty ugly, but it works. If you would have to read them, then that might be a problem. But so if I have a spring damper function for the camera, so that it slowly, I mean, it acts like a spring on the tile position, so that it moves smoothly, and the code for the math equations is, yeah, that's unreadable. That's read-only code. So thankfully, I probably won't change that ever, now that it works. Yeah, there are these problems, but there are also upsides. So compiling in C is super fast. C++ compiling is horrible. It just takes forever. Unless I'm doing something wrong. With the defaults, it takes forever. Oh, this is actually... Can I? No, I can't solve this. Oh, I can't solve this. Crazy. That's a good puzzle. Okay, that's... where am I? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I have 10. So that's half of what I want. So let's maybe speed up a bit. So this is also pretty dead here. I can't... No, I can't put one here. Maybe there. Yeah, let's move this up. And... Well, I need the path there, but this way maybe. Okay, also not good. That works. Passage. And then let's use gray. Engines. Let's remove some edges. some corners, I mean, and then greenery. And the usual. Okay, that's too easy. Okay, that's impossible. Was it actually? That works. Okay. It's 11. And this one's also, yeah, that's a secret room. Could place one there. It's pretty cool. Passage. Where am I? Entrance. Let's see. Chest. A rock there, a rock there. Then boulders. Let's see if that's solvable. Okay, move this. I can move this away. Can move this away, but I can't move this, but I can move that one. I can't pull it. Okay. So that was this. Okay. I have to remove this. I have to move this there. Oh. Oh, I can get to it this way. So I have to put a boulder there. If I remove this and make this. Let's try this again. The other way around. Okay, so I pull this one out and then down. Then I realize, okay, I screwed up. I have to remove this first. Then this. And here, yeah, the problem is I can't move this one. So I go up there. I'm still stuck. Oh no, I'm... Wow, this... Okay. Pretty devious. Now I'm through. And I get a shield. So that's quite a lot of work. For one chest, but okay. I think that's fine. Okay, that is 12. Let's move a bit more, a bit further down. So the southern part gets a few rooms. But actually I think I'm fine with the distribution. Okay, it's pretty dead here, so let's... Okay, there's no space. There's no good spots. But I want one here. Oh, there's a good spot. Passage. And there's space. Thank God. Entrance. Okay, this is pretty tiny, but might work. Okay, that's super easy. What if I... if I put a bush here, that's impossible, probably. Oh, it isn't. It's possible. Nice. Oops. So that's 13. I'm completely lost as to where I've put these. Let's look at the minimap. Well, yeah, I'll have to move west. So none here, that's a city. But I should place... I think I've been here and said this is pretty dead. So why not go here? Actually, what's going on here? Why is this blocked off? That's concerning. I should run the path test. But that will jump. I'll do it later. Entrance. Let's plop the chest down there. And rock, 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 boulder, 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 and shrubbery. Okay, I can do this. I can do this, and then I'm there. This might be possible. Actually, it's okay. I mean, that's fine. It's not the hardest, but it's okay. Okay, let's go across. And let's put one there, maybe. That's pretty hidden, but why not? There's space. Passage. And a room. This is a entrance. Chest. Rock. Rock. Let's see. I can move this one. Can move this one. That's it. Stuck. But if I... Let's try this. Same thing. Which one do I need to move? I think if I remove this one... Oh wait, that one was movable. So... that doesn't give me much. If I remove this one, I can push this in, and then that's easy. And that's a puzzle. Okay, let's remove the axis. Yeah, there's a bit more flickering on the NVIDIA card, kind of. I think so, at least. But I think that's actually rounding errors, because I am at 1280 X and 430Y. So yeah, that's rounding issues with the floating points. I could move... What could I move? Actually not quite sure how I tessellate the terrain. If I give the vertices their actual world position, I must be. So that's the rounding issue. So they are not relative to the player. If they were relative to the player, then they would all be in the 0 to 60 or something distance, and there's much more resolution in the floating points there. So I might have to fix that. Or I could move... Yeah, what I could do instead is move the whole world around the origin, but then I have negative numbers. That's also bad. Negative numbers in the whole code base. So I'll have to do it in the rendering somehow. But yeah, that's a common problem in video games. Anyways, that was 40, if I'm counting correctly. Having a room here would be nice. Why not here? Let's drop this down. And let's put a passage here. Let's make it brown, maybe. Dirt colored. Oh, there's already stuff there, but it barely fits. entrance. Chest. Rocks. Boulders. Okay, I can see that that's simple. I just have to pull this one down. So let's add another one. Okay, I couldn't pull this all the way down. Nope. Maybe if I make this one movable as well. So I move this one out of the way. And then I can get to it. Okay. 15. That's 5 more, and then that's done. Let's put one. Okay, there's one over here. So maybe let's go over there. Here. This is pretty empty, so let's put one down there. Passage. And then yeah, it doesn't make sense that the room extends into thin air, but I trust that players can imagine a staircase there or something. The hero walks down a staircase. Okay, this is the entrance. This is bad. Let's cut this side and a chest. And 3 boulders. Let's see. Okay, that's too easy. Let's plop one here. A movable one. Okay, that's more tricky. Well, not really. So I just moved this and then this. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. There should be easier ones. If I swap these two, the player will... Yeah, the player can't move this one. So it has to be this one and then this way. And that should be an entrance. It would actually be bad if that was a hidden passage, because yeah, the player might not find the exit. Okay, that is 16. Let's move over. Don't think I have any of these in here. Let me check passages again. That might be super flickery, so beware. So yeah, southwest is lacking. So let's put down 4 of these there. Also at the end in the southeast. Let's see. This is out of bounds. This is pretty busy. Pretty busy. Here would be a good place, but that's taken. Here maybe. Yeah. That's good. Passage. And then the entrance. And then the same spiel. Boulders, 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 and rocks. And bushes. Let's see. Okay, that's too easy. But if I move this here, might be impossible. Well, I can get to it this way. Maybe if I move this one there. So all of these might have a simpler solution than what I'm trying, but I think it's okay if I don't stress on these too much. Okay, that's 17. It's 3 more. Let's look at somewhere else that's pretty empty. Okay, I have a room there. That's also going in the wrong direction. Okay, pretty busy. This is pretty empty. And there's also space. So I could erase some of these to create an entrance, or maybe also not good, but here. Yeah, this is good. Passage. And then let's make this stone. Not good. That's better. I need to go see you tomorrow. Alright, Diego. Thanks for stopping by. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow then. I need an entrance. Okay, that's super easy. Also super easy, but maybe not this way. Still super easy. What if I block this? What if I block this? That's okay, I think. So that is 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 more. Yeah, that's perfect in this area. So let's place one here maybe. Yeah. Passage. Let's make this one green. And an entrance. Chest. Boulder. Rocks. So these are actually, yeah, so these puzzles are, if you're asking yourself, is this a puzzle game? No, it's not. These are just to change up the gameplay a bit. Okay, that's one left. Don't even need to make dashes anymore. Can just remember. So that's a plus. So this is, yeah, this is pretty dead, this area. So let's put one here. Entrance. Let's try one a bit more narrow. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Oh, nice, a sword. That's awesome. Okay. Yes, so I think that's enough. That's actually a... that's great that I have that finished. So I have all the interiors. I have all the secret entrances. So I can now finish balancing the game. Well, I mean, that will probably be an ongoing effort. But the first round of balancing. So what did I change? I added the secret passage. Okay. Debug edit. I also added a fancy log command. Make a log. So I can see my recent commits. That's helpful if I want to write the summary for the day for the website. And yeah, that's done. Yeah, so I'll go offline now. I will be balancing the game. That means just playing it over and over. I'm happy that the bitrate is finally stable, thank God. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. And hopefully the game will be kind of balanced. But there's so many knobs, it's crazy. And if I tune one correctly, for example, the damage of the enemies, then if I change the health of the player, then that's completely out of whack. But yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll read up on it a bit, find some strategies, but I think it's just playing a whole bunch. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for wishlisting. We're at 150 wishlists, which is awesome. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Unconstrained by encoder issues. Thank God. Oh yes. Okay. All right. I'll see you then. Bye bye.